Welcome everyone to the 29 Journey podcast. I'm your host Luis, and before I introduce my guest tonight, I do want to remind everyone if you don't know about the website that I recently created for the 29 Journey a few weeks back, go ahead and check it out, the29journey.com. Quick and easy. You can actually listen to episodes on there. You can watch the episodes if you prefer to watch episodes now. I have a page dedicated for those, and those get posted right as soon as they get posted on YouTube. If you have Facebook and you prefer to watch them on there, I also post the episodes on there, the video versions of them. And of course, if you prefer to listen to the audio version, if you're watching the video version now, then you can also listen to the podcast on your favorite podcast app. And if for any reason the podcast isn't on your app, let me know, send me a message, and I'll make sure that it gets added on that app. But at this point, it's pretty much in most of the major ones out there. And also, if I can ask you all who are listening now for one favor, it would be really awesome if you could actually leave a review for the podcast wherever you listen to it, whatever app you listen. It would just help me actually get more listeners on the podcast and also hear your thoughts on any episode. Maybe let me know what your favorite episode's been, share a memory of any episodes you've listened to in the past, all that. It would be really awesome. So, again, that's on your favorite podcast app. Also, if you want to send me a message, you can do so on social media. You can follow the podcast at 29 Journey on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is the page that I want to continue to grow. At this point, by the time this gets posted, I'm probably getting close to 700 followers. But my goal is to actually get to 1,000 followers by the end of the year. And at the rate things are going, it looks like I might actually get to my goal and maybe even surpass it. Why not? 1,500 the end of the year would be really nice. But I am planning on doing more things on Instagram. If you guys follow me on there, you'll see that I share a lot of stories, a lot of things that my guests are doing get shared on there, events going on, all that. And I plan on doing more of that. So again, check it out at the 29 Journey on Instagram. I am going to be doing some live streams on Instagram. So that is your place to check out so you find out when live streams happen. Or sometimes I'll just be spontaneous. I might be at a guest business, I might be at an event, and I might just do an Instagram live there too. So you guys could check it out. So that's that. But let me go ahead and introduce my special guest tonight here. His name is Sebastian Saldana, and he owns a arcade business in Stockton that he's owned for 10 years, which is really awesome because a lot of us 80s, 90s kids, we know how awesome it is to be able to go to an arcade. And, we know that with the evolution of video games and more people playing at home, some of those arcade places have kind of gone down. So the fact that we could still have an arcade here in the 209 that we can go to is really amazing because we might have Dave and Buster's, we might have Chuck E. Cheese and all that, but nothing beats actually being able to go back to those old school arcade machines. And also, most important of all, being able to support a local business and not give all the money to all these national businesses that I feel like are increasing their cost uh, month over month is what it seems like. But welcome to the 29 Journey, Sebastian. How are you, man?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, hey, really awesome to have you on. And we were talking offline. It's something that you don't see often now. I mean, aside from maybe like pizza shops having like a arcade in the corner, maybe with like two machines and all that, it's not something that is every day that you get to see. An arcade place still in the area. I mean, unless I haven't discovered another one that's 209, but I think that there's not very many that are like yours, let alone ones that have two locations like you do, right?
Right. There is two arcades here in Stock, or two more aside from mine. I guess I'll include them because we're all local businesses. We all got to support each other. There's Stockton Coin Op, which is in downtown on Weber Avenue, downtown Stockton, and then there's also another one. That one is Underground Arcade. I believe it's on Main Street, but they seem to do kind of more private events than more, I guess, open to the public. They are
Mhm.
open, but I think they close out like at 5 p.m. Um, I don't know, but I think they're just more they're more private.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh well, hey, that's good that there's a few more there. I'm not sure about the other cities in the 209, but I know it's tough, right? As you know, right, to have the business. So I'm really happy that you've been going on it 10 years and that you have the community that's supporting you, because that's all that you really need, right? To continue to run it. And I know you were telling me that it's been a passion of yours. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more of like the story of how it got started and all that. But before we get to that, I know you were born in French Camp, but you basically lived all your life in South Stockton, and that's like where you have one of your locations now. So tell me more about what it's been like, growing up in Stockton and just how you've seen it change over time.
Geez, I grew up in Stockton. Been living here for 31 years. 31 years. Most just recently, since I started working out of Stockton, I haven't really explored much of Stockton. But I guess you could say the first my first 20 years of my life, I did see Stockton change a lot. The city has been growing a lot, and it's it's also going in. There's like a lot of crime here, and I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, it's there's a lot of crime, and that sucks about Stockton. But we do have a lot of things out here, um, you know, that are how do I say this, undiscovered. Kind of like this, or like a hidden gem type of place. There's a few of them in Stockton. Stockton's a growing city, but again, a growing city. There's you know also other things going on.
Oh yeah, no, and I always say, when people mention all that, I mean, it is the biggest city in the 209, and as you mentioned, right, I mean, those things are sometimes inevitable, right? But I think it's not until people actually can go out and go out, check out like your business, check out other ones, and just realize, like you just mentioned, right? There's hidden gems out there that people might be a little afraid of going, right, and visiting those areas, but it's like just like I think any city, right? All cities have different things go on and all that, but it's not until you go out there and see for yourself that, hey, things aren't too bad, right? Because you can go out and support businesses, and you have a business that's been running for 10 years. So I think that in itself speaks a lot, right? And I'm sure there's like other neighbors that you have around that have had businesses for a long time, and despite anything that could go on, they're still there, right? They still know that the community is supporting them, and that they can still financially like be in that spot, right? So uh, that's a good thing to see in any city, to see local businesses thriving for so long, especially, right? But let's talk a little bit more about video games, because you own an arcade place. And before we talk about how you got that open, tell me more about like that first video game you played. What was it? What got you into this video game fandom?
Oh man. So when I was probably like, I don't know, 6, 7, I was a little kid. I was a little kid. My uncle was living with us, and he he brought home a brand new Super Nintendo, and I remember playing uh, Donkey Kong Country 2 and Super Mario All Stars. Those were the two I played a lot, and I I love them. That was my first, I guess, introduction to video games, and it's funny because I never got like my own video game console until the Sega Dreamcast, which is around 1999 2000. So throughout that whole life, my first like the first couple of years of gaming, I used to go to friends' houses to play video games, and I used to like go to my cousin's house. Like my mom, believe it or not, my mom had like a negative view towards video games. She just didn't want me to play video games. She said they're gonna rot your brain, and typical Hispanic mom stuff. So yeah, but my mom, she just never got, I guess, annoyed of me playing the Super Nintendo because I would interact with my uncle. I would talk with my uncle, and I guess we built that bond and that relationship that with my uncle, and I miss it because he actually once he finished the Delta, because he went to Delta College for the automotive program. He finished that, and then he went to go work here. But I guess he said he wanted to go back to Mexico, so he left to Mexico, and he hasn't came back to the United States. I don't know, just sucks. Maybe one day I'll go visit him, hopefully.
Oh yeah, hey, and take a Super Nintendo with you because that would be really awesome to experience that and be able to relive those moments too. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. It is a it definitely is a Hispanic parent thing sometimes to like see video games in that light, especially back in those days, right? Where like video game consoles were like, the popularity was blowing up, right? More and more households were like getting them, and you're able to like play games at home and all that. But I do always say the same thing that you're saying, right? I mean, everyone has a story with video games, whether you're someone who actively plays video games or it's just someone who just casually plays every now and then if it's at someone's house. And that's the thing, whether it's a Mario Party, Mario Kart kind of game situation there. But it tends to bring people together, right? And like you said, have conversations, get to know other people. And I mean, I can relate to your story too with my uncle. Except he's in Stockton, by the way. Shout out to him, shout out to Freddie. But we bonded through video games, and to this day we'll still go and play games, and we'll probably even stop by your arcade shop sometime because he lives in Stockton, so it all works out great there. But yeah, no, good message right there is that it brings them together. But uh, I want to know though. Let's talk about the arcades and that. What do you remember? What was the first arcade game that you played? And maybe what was the first like arcade place that you went to, or like, or at least one that you have memories of?
Oh man, uh, the first arcade I played, that's gonna be a tough one. I just can't remember what exactly was my first one, but the one I probably spent like the most time with, and the one I could actually remember from like my younger days playing was, believe it or not, Dance Dance Revolution.
Okay, that's a good one.
Uh, yeah, that was at the Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if you remember, or well, you say you don't live in Stockton, but there used to be a Chuck E. Cheese in the plaza where there's a in shape. It's on March Lane and Pershing Avenue. There used to be a Chuck E. Cheese there,
Mhm.
and I just remember playing Dance Dance Revolution Third Mix so much. I played that a lot, and my dad always made the joke every time he would go to Chuck E. Cheese. It smells like feet in here. It smells like the cheese at the that Chester or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
Chuck. It smells like the cheese he has on these pizzas, and I just can't. I just remember that line my dad used to always say. But yeah, Dance Dance Revolution for me was probably the game I spent majority of my childhood playing. And at one point, that Chuck E. Cheese did end up closing down. So then the next place that I guess has been in Stockton, or it's not no more, but was in Stockton, was a place called Naughty Nick's. It was on, I believe, Benjamin Holt and Pacific. Um, I also remember playing a lot of Dance Dance Revolution fourth mix there. Um, and that's pretty much, what I remember playing in my younger days. But again, once Naughty Nick's closed down, oh my God, all these arcades closing down, then I started going to the mall arcade, which is not there no more. Um, that one was called Whimsy. That one I remember a lot, playing Street Fighter, playing Initial D, also playing Dance Dance Revolution. Um, just all these memories, and I've met people there that I still know to this day, and I consider them good friends. You know,
Yeah, going back to the power of video games uniting people. There you go. That's a thing there. And I actually do know that Chuck E. Cheese because whenever I would go visit my uncle, that was the spot. that we would go to. So there's a lot of memories there, and it was sad when they closed it down. But then they brought John's Incredible Pizza, and then we went
That
there
one's one I
too.
that one's one I forgot to actually mention. John's Incredible Pizza. But going back to Chuck E. Cheese, they actually did open another one, maybe about, I want to say like 10 years ago, maybe less, but it's smaller and they just have more of the ticket games. They don't have that many video games, which
Mm.
people kind of mistake arcade as like, oh, they must have a bunch of ticket games. But you know, that I consider like a ticket place like a family entertainment center, and then like the video game one on a video arcade. That's how you would uh, differentiate either one of the two. And we get that a lot. We get phone calls here asking, "Oh, does your arcade have ticket games?" And we tell them, "No, we're strictly video games." And I don't know, they seem to get upset over that. And it's like, yo, if you want to play ticket games, go to Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, well, even then, I think with ticket games, there's not that many good prizes, right? And the really like high
No.
prizes, you're gonna be spending triple, quadruple of whatever that costs, right?
Yeah,
To get the
you get that little toy where you put your two fingers in and your fingers get stuck.
Oh yeah, oh that's a classic like 90s like prize for sure.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was oh my god. But yeah, they usually have their prizes aren't really all that great, and I'm like, I guess I could just go get that now since I'm at an age that I could just go buy it. But they're really just smaller prizes, I don't know. I guess kids don't see that; they just look at the games and play those. But I don't know.
Well, Dance Dance Revolution, I think it's awesome that that was like your first one because anytime I see an arcade have that, unless the line is like crazy long, I'm like, I gotta go play that game because that game is like not only like the workout, but usually the songs that are in all Dance Dance games like are really epic, right? They usually have like the hits. So with that, I gotta ask, like, what's your go-to song?
My go-to song. There's the newer Dance Dance Revolutions do have a lot of licensed music of like today's artists. Um, but one that I like playing a lot, and I'm pretty sure people are gonna recognize it. It's a Darude Sandstorm. It's a techno beat song. It's a licensed song from like the early 2000s. If anyone that's played the PlayStation 2 DDRs, they're gonna know what I'm talking about.
Nice. Did you ever buy it? Like, because I know they also sell it for like home console and all that, or like, did you ever get one of those like pads that was the home pads that usually didn't work right because it would mess up all the time?
Yes, I did buy the home pads. I bought at least four because yes, they did end up eventually ripping. They do rip
Mm.
and they just go bad. So I did play that a lot in my earlier days, and I guess um, I could tell you as I progress on with the chat. But yeah, I evolved myself because I kept ripping those pads. I got something better.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do sell I mean, the basically the commercial one, right?
Hmm.
Out there too, which I think is a good investment because with them
Yeah,
breaking all the time, it's like you gotta get something that is good. But I remember getting the Mario Brothers exclusive. You remember that one? I don't know if you ever got
I
that
still
one,
have
but
it. I
you
still
still
have it.
oh,
I bought it at the Walmart at the Walmart here. I bought it. I remember the day I took it home, played it all night, and the sad thing about it, there was only like 30 songs, like only 30, and then like your typical PlayStation 2 DDR has like 70, 80 songs. So I I kind of grew old of it real quick because but I still have it to this day. It's just memories that I want to relive at a later time of my life, I guess.
oh yeah. Well, speaking of that and collection wise, like, what's your collection like? Like, do you have more of like a specific game? Do you collect like all kinds of games, or what? How's that like?
Um, for home consoles, the one I do collect a lot of is the Nintendo GameCube because I I grew up playing the Nintendo GameCube, and I pretty much bought all the games. They call it first party titles, meaning like the games Nintendo released, like the Mario titles, the Mario Party, Donkey Kong, basically anything Nintendo related. I have for the Nintendo GameCube. I just grew up playing that. I loved it, and again, met a lot of people playing those games. Super Smash Brothers Melee, that's a big one. I met all
Mhm.
my friends. Like a lot of my friends play Super Smash Brothers, and still have them to this day. You know, video games aren't all that bad. They bring people together. You make new friends.
Yeah, especially such a classic game like that one, right? Of the Nintendo 64 one, Brawl, all that. And it's, yeah, I mean, just going back, right? So the fact that, it helps people meet other people. And, it's nice that, with the arcade that you're able to how people like actually meet each other in person, right? Not just be an online thing, but actually like get to go there and actually like play games against each other on there with the arcades. So that leads me to want to ask you now about the arcade because I really want to know the story of how Arcade Replay got started. So just tell me more about how it all went down 10 years ago.
This one's gonna be a long one, man. All right. Well, this goes back. I guess I could start as far back as my grandpa. Um, my grandpa had a lot of land in Mexico, and I he ended up selling the land because he came to the United States to work, and he sold the land, and he basically made a little convenience store in the rancho my mom and my dad are from. He built a little convenience store that both my aunt and my mom operated or ran, I should say. And so one day, this person came into the convenience store, and I guess my grandpa was there, and he told him, "Do you want to buy this game?" He introduced me to arcade games, and I believe it. My mom said it was Galaxian and Pac-Man. So it was two games, Galaxian and Pac-Man, and my grandpa agreed to buying them. And the guy said, "This is gonna give you a lot of money." And my mom told me that basically whatever those two machines made revenue wise was just covering the electricity of keeping the place running. So they were basically making money, and they helped out. Basically whatever they made from the machines, the electricity got paid. So, you know, and I guess it came to a point where my my mom, obviously, she wants to come to the United States. So um, both my mom and my dad came to the United States, and the store couldn't be run anymore, so they had to close the convenience store down. But believe it or not, those two machines are still back at the place. They still have the convenience store, but it's boarded up. It's I think my mom told me they're using it right now as just like storage, but she told me that the machines are still there. So I don't know. I sound kind of crazy, but it's kind of my dream to get those here into the states and just kind of just look at like what kind of kicked off the whole arcade thing for my family, the Marquez family, um, and so yeah. Uh, fast forward, my parents came to the United States, uh, and they're trying to figure out basically how to make money. And so they uh, they were asking people, "Oh, what do we do for money?" Because I think my dad said that he was working in the la cebolla, the onion. He was working picking onions, and they just didn't want to do that. They wanted to do something more. And so I think one of my one of my uncles told my dad, I didn't ask him who it was, but they told him, why don't you sell CDs at the flea market? And so my parents ended up going that route because my dad is a huge music fan. He loves music. He loves listening to Los Bukis, Caminantes, Tigres del Norte. I could go on, dude. I could go on with like artists, you know. But yeah, so when my oldest sister was born, they they started basically selling CDs at the El Dorado flea market. They've been selling, well, cassettes. They started off with cassettes, not CDs. So they started off selling cassettes, then they started selling CDs, and basically they've been doing that for about 20, I want to say like more than, I want to say like 23 or 24 years. They basically sold CDs at the flea market every Saturday, every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And um, my mom, um, she's a strong woman, and I appreciate, like, I love my mom. And there's pictures of us, both my sisters and myself, little kids, little babies, just at the flea market, the cassettes in the background. My mom would take care of us at the flea market while she was selling CDs because my parents had two separate booths. My dad had one booth on one opposite side of the flea market, and my mom had another one on the opposite side. And because I guess everyone was buying cassettes and CDs at the time, it was big at the time. And so, um, believe it or not, inside the flea market, there was an arcade. there was a there was an arcade, and I remember the rows of pinball machines. He had just a row of pinball machines, and now those pinballs are really expensive. They're like $8,000 to $9,000 tables.
Well,
Like they're not cheap. So the fact that I saw all this in the flea market was so. Obviously, I liked video games, so I would go inside this arcade and I would play. And my mom would not. Again, my mom didn't like the whole video game thing, so when she found time in her day to, I guess, not have customers, she would go to the arcade and pull me out, like physically pull me out of the arcade, and she would tell me, "Do not go play video games." And I don't know, I was just a disobedient little boy, and whenever she was busy with a customer, I would just go back in and play video games. Not, I wouldn't play all the time, but just looking at people play was enough for me to just keep going back. I don't know. I just um so I I became friends with the owner there. Well, the owner's son. The owner's son. We're still friends to this day as well. We're good friends. He comes in the arcade here now and he plays fighting games with me. That's how good friends we are. But um, basically, that was also a generation thing. It was his grandpa that started that arcade. Then it was passed over to the daughter, which is my friend's mom, and then it was passed down to the brother, and eventually the brother, when I was a bit older, um, he wasn't that good into like the mechanical side and the technical side of the arcade games, and so I kind of decided to learn how these games work. So I would help him work on these games, and we would troubleshoot them. And I guess we're still good friends to this day as well. And but it came to a point where um, I guess he broke up with his girlfriend, and she was running the place after he would leave to work. So he would just come half of the day to work at the arcade, and then she would run the place after to close. And I guess it came to the point they broke up, and so my friend was, or my that person at the time was like, well, I don't know, I can't run this place no more, and so um, he asked me, he's like, "Would you like to buy some of these games?" And I didn't have any money, so I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, I would love to, but I don't have money." So um, let's backtrack a little bit towards the time where the first iPod got released. So obviously, my parents selling CDs their whole, I guess, a good portion of their life. And then when the iPod came out, there was a lot of bootlegging going on. So people would buy the iPods, they would load them up with music and sell them at the flea market. They would sell these iPods or SD cards full of music, and they would also sell bootleg CDs. And so basically, the iPod killed the CD. So my parents weren't making money no more, and it was a struggle to keep that place running. And my mom and my parents were talking like, well, okay, well, what's our next step? Do we just pick up daytime jobs or what? So I think I was around 14 or 15. I can't remember how old I was, but I told my mom, I was like, you know what, you should probably look into this arcade situation. It can probably be a good thing. I see the amount of people that come in because I was there all the time. I was there playing video games all the time, and I would tell her I see the potential is this in this. I see money. I'm this young teenage kid telling my parents what to do in their life. Like, come on. And my parents did pick up. They did pick up daytime jobs um, because obviously they weren't making money, but they still wanted to keep doing the CD thing. Uh, but I guess it just came down to the point where they had to close the CD business down, and I don't know. I think my mom just talked to my grandma because I think my grandpa had already passed away. So she was talking to my grandma just one day about what to do. And my grandma just told her, you should listen to your son. Your dad brought these machines here to the little convenience store and it paid for electricity. Like, I think you should give this a shot. And so I don't know. My mom just 360 herself and said, you know what? I guess let's try this arcade thing. Let's give it a shot. She kind of like her whole hatred or, you know, about video games just went out the window. I was like, oh my God.
Well,
And so she had money saved up, but we had to go with the loan shark. I don't like saying this much, but yeah, we basically went with the loan shark. He lended my mom a decent amount of money, and I think she put down the pink slips for the cards that we had at the time. So we got money for the arcade, and we bought the machines, and basically the booth where my mom was at selling the CDs, it was big enough to start off. We started off with like 10 machines at the flea market. Now at the flea market, there's like at least 25 or 30 games. I'm not sure, but we started off with just 10 games. And, I guess we had a rough start. It was because we didn't have all the games. We didn't have all the games that the other place had because we just didn't have the money for it. But I would slowly start saving up money, or we would save up money from the earnings from the arcade. We would get on Craigslist, we would get on eBay, just everywhere on the internet looking for these machines for sale. And eventually we just came up with a decent selection of games. And I guess that's pretty much the start off of the arcade at the flea market, you know.
yeah, that's how the first location started, right? That was 10 years ago, and then you opened this one that you were telling me was like 4 months ago, other side of town, which is awesome that you have one in every side of town. It's like no matter where
It,
you're at, like you can
dude,
go and
get this. The arcades are on the same street.
Oh wow.
So one is the location in the south is 2542 South El Dorado Street, and then the north one is 7916 North El Dorado Street. So you can literally just take the same street and go to the other arcade or come over here. That's what people do, because the arcade at the flea market closes at 5 because it's at a flea market, and we just my dad operates the flea market one. He tells them, oh, go to the north one, go to the north one. You know, we're open till like late. We're open till late. You know, we won't kick people out unless if you're playing. I'm not gonna close. One time
Mhm.
we advertised that we close at 10 on the weekends, but those earlier days when it wasn't too hot, I think we were staying up until like 11:30, almost midnight, because people just kept playing and playing. You know, it was a crazy first 2 months, like when we first opened up. But I think people, it's kind of been a little bit slow because of the heat, and there's also a story too that our AC unit died, I
Oh.
guess, and so we've been struggling this past month. My landlord, luckily, did say he was going to install the new unit. It is a lot of money. I think he said $18,000, but
Wow.
hey, that's his job as a landlord. You know, like
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you gotta have the AC working always, right? Because with so many
yeah,
machines running, it can.
yeah. The heat that these games produce, it's ridiculous. We have to have the doors open with just fans pushing the warm air out, or if not, it's just gonna be like a sauna in here. It's bad. Like,
Yeah.
but in the wintertime, we're chilling or we're good because that's our heater. We didn't even have
No.
to turn on the heater.
Yeah. Right, that's savings right there. With being able to do that. But I'm glad that he's gonna be fixing it, and yeah, it costs a lot. AC units are pretty expensive, but it's a must to have there. Now, I know again you opened it 4 months ago, but what was it like when you opened that location? Like the first day, tell me like what was grand opening like?
Grand opening was crazy. I was running around like a chicken with no head because I wanted to please everyone. There was because my sister told me you should do a soft opening, invite your friends,
Mm,
make them play the games, and see if there's like any flaws with them or something that you need to do. And our landlord was just saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna start charging you rent for this day, so you either open or you don't." And so we're like, "Oh, we gotta open already. I gotta make my money back to pay the rent because
mm,
I didn't know if it was gonna be. I don't know if we were gonna make our monthly rent and whatnot. So I was like, we need to open. I don't
mm.
want to waste any more days. And I think that was my biggest mistake ever. You want to do a soft opening, invite friends over, have them play some of the games, and make a list of what's going on and what's wrong, and fix them. But I didn't, and so people are coming up. Oh, this is wrong with this. This is wrong with that. So I'd be going back and forth, and just fixing the games. And we were busy. We didn't close till midnight that day. It was on a Friday, and yeah, it was great. All my friends were here. I even had people from my job at Livermore. Some of them came out here to
Wow.
support me, and my sister had her friends here. My Some of my family, my uncles were here, and we also didn't start off with many games, but just the amount of people we had in here was like, oh my god, yeah, it was a rough grand opening, but luckily we kind of already got all the adjustments on the games, so like I'm at a calm moment of my life, or I'm just calm now. I'm
Yeah.
not running around fixing the games. I'm
Yeah.
relaxed. I'm chill.
Yeah, no, I get you with the whole soft opening, grand opening. I mean, I've seen businesses do that, but I mean, your circumstance, you just you got to just open already, right? If you're getting charged, then you got to start to make that money back up. So I'm glad that it worked out, and you had a lot of people there, which is really awesome when you get support from all over the place too. And so in these 4 months in that location, what would you say is like the most popular game? What's the one that like people are waiting there because someone's like taking a long time playing that game? And
So our most popular one right now, and the one that's been just killing it with earnings, is a game called Initial D3. It's basically a two-player racing game. I can go show you in a bit when I do the tour. Um, but it's a two-player racing game, and it revolves from a anime. So it's a late '90s anime of a young boy that delivers tofu in his dad's old 1986 Toyota Corolla uh, Terreno. Um, and basically, no, he basically drifts the mountains, and everyone's like, "Oh, that guy's fast! That guy's fast!" And so all these like top tier racers want to race this guy down his mountain, Mount Akina, and they just can't beat him because he grew up driving that course, doing the tofu delivery, and he's like the god at that course, and no one can beat him at that course. And that's basically the whole anime. I think it got like 4 seasons. It's already over, unfortunately, but it's a really good anime. I enjoy it for what it is. It revolves a lot about cars, and that's actually one of my other passions of my hobbies is working on cars. Um, and this goes back to talking to my uncle. I got that passion and hobby because my uncle would work on cars. He was a mechanic. He graduated Delta with his associates in auto mechanics. Me, many years later, did the same thing. I graduated from Delta College with my associates in science for automotive technology. And yeah, just well, I love working on cars. I have my show car as well that I brought to the meet right here that we had. We actually had the tournament for the. We had a tournament for that game, Initial D, and that's I didn't even have the idea. Valley Dream Car, he was like, "Hey, dude, let's have a car meet at your arcade," and he was like, "You should maybe do a tournament. You know, you might get a lot of people." I was like, "It's a great idea," and so yeah. So, to this day, that game is still doing amazing, fantastic, dude. And I have at least, if not, I have at least 5 guys show up every day. It doesn't have to be the same people, but at least 5 different guys show up every day to play that game from like opening to closing. That's how popular it is.
Wow.
And yeah, um, and all those guys, they all talk to each other. It's always a different group. I think the most I've had on a Saturday night, I think I had like 15 guys just waiting in line playing. Like, but here's the thing though, it revolves around nostalgia. So basically, everyone in the video game scene right now, they're really they have jobs and they could afford these things or these video games that they couldn't at their younger days. Same here. So they would come out here and they would play the Initial D and they stay here all day playing because that's what they grew up playing. And I actually have this customer that comes all the way from Tracy. He brings this kid and he's teaching his kid to get into the game and he's enjoying it. It's beautiful, man. It's good. It's nice seeing someone like bonding with his son. Like, hey, look, this is what I did when I was in my younger days. Like, it keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us focused on something, you know. And you get to meet new people. I'm happy that he's like having this example, just with everyone here. You know, that I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we were just talking about earlier, right? Uniting people through video games, and I'm glad that you get to allow them to have that experience, right? Because it's like otherwise, I mean, if they went elsewhere, I referenced some of the national, like quote unquote arcade places that have the ticketing and all that too. But it's like modern games, it's not the same thing. Like, but more and more, you know, they're getting more of that. But there's nothing like, playing the classic games. And it's nice that, he's doing that. So, future generations can get appreciation over what is now vintage, which it makes us feel old, I know, but it's great that you have
It's
that
20
experience.
years old, man. That game, Initial D, it came out in 2004. And I think in January was around the time that it turned 20. I should have done I missed or well, we weren't still open, but I should have done something for that day as well. Like, oh, celebrating 20 years of this game. And you're right. You go to a Dave and Buster's, you go to a round one, you go to a Chuck E. Cheese, they're not gonna have that Initial D game.
Mhm.
I'll take that back. Round one does have Initial D, but they have like I guess the more recent one. But again, the reason why mine is doing better is because they were aroused around nostalgia. People played this game when they were younger, so they're gonna come back. Oh my god, I haven't played this in like 20, like so many years, and
Mhm.
now I get to play it. Now I get to spend my whole day now here on my day off work playing this game, and I have that. I have guys like I kid you not, stay here from opening to closing. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. And because we're and because we're in the plaza where there's food, there's even a supermarket next door, an Asian supermarket. They go eat, they go have a boba drink, and they come back and oh my god, dude, it's I love it. People just like five guys hang out, talk with each other, and it just feels good that you have a place that you I guess I don't know. They some of them consider this like a second home to them because they get to come, they get to talk, they get to hang out, and I don't know. I just like seeing those type of things because it's something I would have wanted. If I didn't do this, I would have loved to have something like this. But I'm glad I guess this opportunity um, happened to me. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, no, I always say, right? I mean, if you're in a business that you're passionate about, then it gets reflected when you run your business and all that, and then seeing other people there and talking to them about the video games that they're playing and all that. And I'm really glad that Valley Dream Car, which again, shout out to him. We did that interview a few months ago too. If anyone wants to go check it out, but I'm glad that he had the idea to do the car meet there, get the word out for the arcade. And also, I mean, what better than to do it with an arcade game that has cars in it,
Yeah.
right? Like it worked out so perfect.
If you go to my profile on my Instagram, you get to see the pictures. That parking lot outside was full. There was people coming out from the Bay Area to participate in the car meet. I had at least like I don't know 80 cars, 100 cars outside this park, and I'm glad the parking lot is huge. Like if you go on Google Maps, you'll see how big the parking lot is, and yeah, it was a great day. We were busy all day, just people playing the arcade games and people like, oh my god, this place exists. I'm like, yeah, what rock are you living under?
I was living under a rock too, so I get that too. But that's what we're here for, to get the word out, get more people out there. And I'm glad that he did that for you, because I see the things. I still haven't had the chance to go to one of his car meets, but he brings like the car community from like all over the place, and it's really nice to see that that community rallies together where he does something. They all go out there and not only go out there and like talk to each other and be out there with the cars, but also go into these businesses and support them as well, right? Because they're doing this meet in conjunction with a local business. So I'm glad that he has that going on. And hopefully there's more people that do more of those things. I've talked to
Yeah,
people who do other things like running clubs and all that, and they bring their people to support the local businesses. And it's nice when, again, just these local communities rally together to support the business that's showing support to them as well. So
yeah, we need more people like him because that guy that I was talking about that brings his son to show him the game, he actually found out from the car meet post that he was sharing on his page. So shout outs to Roel Ismael. I hope I hope you watch this when it's up. But yeah, he found out of the arcade from him, and he's been a I don't want to even call him a customer. He's been a great friend. We I follow him on social media. We We talk about cars. We've already hung out outside the arcade, and again, it's just the list of friends just keep going up over the video games.
Yeah, for anyone who thinks that video games are a waste of time, I think after watching this episode, everyone's just gonna have a different opinion. And anyone who maybe was feeling different or thinking, oh, it's just playing a game on the screen, like, oh, it's more than that, because there's conversations that happen aside from the game itself, because there's always that, friendly debate, right? Or like, hey, I'm better than you and all that. um, Awesome. Well, for anyone who's watching the video portion right now, we're going to take a look at the arcade machines. If you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to be able to hear that because arcade machines, as we know, I mean, they're a little louder. So for those people that are listening, I wanted to make sure that your ears like weren't like blown off or anything. So you're good. But if you want to go watch, again, more the reason to go and check out an episode. And I'll probably be doing this for other episodes as well. So if anyone wants to go and see what the videos are like, you can go and check it out on YouTube and Facebook, so you can see the portion that you missed, because again, it's more of a visual portion as well. So if you want to like give us a tour of the arcade for everyone who's watching us here on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, yeah, of course. Can I flip this camera around? Oh no, no,
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
think I think there. Oh, I'm not sure. There might be a way to to
Yeah, let
flip
me
the
just do it
camera.
this way. Can you see the arcade?
Yeah, here, and
All
and
right.
I'll actually put your screen so it could be a little more focused. So I'm still here, by the way, but let me focus on your screen here so we can have that. All right. Oh, I see. There you go. There's a dance,
Not a,
right?
no, this is this is
Is it?
kind of like Dance Dance. This one's actually
Okay.
a Pump It Up. It's a Korean version of Dance Dance. You can see the arrows are different.
Oh, nice.
So we got some crane machines. We got some prize games. They call these merchandisers. They're full of prizes. And then we have modern stuff, but believe it or not, these don't do as well because they're available at other places.
Yeah.
So here's our Dance Dance Revolution. It's one of the newer ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have my original one that I bought from back then at the flea market location. But basically, this is the newest Dance Dance Revolution right here. And then we got some shooting games. So right now we have a lot of music games. These are considered music games, and I'll show you the music game corner that we have, the cube. But this one right here is the one I'm talking about, the one that's been doing the best here. I don't know if you can get a good shot of it. But we got some posters up there as well. Got some racing games over here. And then we got some like a music DJ one right here. These have been the better ones here. Just a lot of music games. A lot of the community here is focused around music games. So yeah, that's and then we got the pool tables, we
Oh,
got hockey
nice.
tables, foosball,
Oh,
basketball hoops. These do pretty well here. And this area is gonna be very loud. This is our fighting game section. Basically nothing but fighting games. We got the newest Street Fighter over there, and
oh, wow.
then we got old Street Fighter. These are straight from Japan. All these are imported from Japan.
Wow.
These aren't your typical arcade machines that you find here in like American arcades. But this room gets packed on the weekends. Just gets packed. And then we got some more shooting games over here in the little corner. And I kind of wish I had more of these pinball machines. They're just really
Oh, yeah.
expensive. I do have a pinball machine, but I wish I had more, but financially, I can't buy some right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, at least you
But
have one, right? I mean,
yeah,
you make another one, but yeah.
I have a little bit of everything, As I said, shooting games, Time Crisis. Everyone knows what Time Crisis is. I got
Yeah.
some retro games right here: Donkey Kong and like Pac-Man, shooting games, dancing games, racing games, sport games, fighting games. You have something to play. There's never nothing to play here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so much variety, and I mean, it's almost I feel like you have more options than even like a Chuck E. Cheese. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you have a lot more than if people weren't already sold to go because you have all the variety. Like, hey, forget the tickets because who cares about the prices and all that?
They're not
uh,
even half of the time. They're not even that great. They're not
yeah.
like
Oh yeah, no, it's not like how it used to be for sure. Like it's they've
yeah.
downgraded that. Yeah.
And then we have this room right here. So we host parties here. You could actually reserve the arcade for a few hours. And in here, parents usually hang out to like get away from the sound. I mean, I was in there earlier, but you heard it just echoes in there. But
Yeah.
there's nice AC in there. We do set up tables. Parents can rent the arcade. We set everything on free play, and they could have a private event here at the arcade.
Nice.
Yeah. Then obviously we have junk food,
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta
snacks.
have it.
Yeah, you gotta have some snacks, man. Sorry about the mess, but I was fixing some things right here earlier. And then obviously the selection of drinks. We got energy drinks, some vitamin water, Gatorades, and sodas, and something for the kids, the Capri Suns. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, the tour of the arcade. Just a little bit of everything.
Nice. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Wow, yeah. Anything that people are looking for, there's a machine out there for them, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. I wish I could go right now and actually go there too. But I'll definitely be stopping by sometime soon. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you also give people space to, have their own like place to actually, like rent the whole place out or just have parties there because I mean, we know the nostalgia, right? With growing up, when you would see the little party centers that, like, say, like a John's Incredible Pizza would have, and always wanting to have a party there, and just be able to get to have the whole arcade to yourself is even better, right? Because you can't do that anywhere else, right? No one's gonna just let you rent the whole arcade and take over a Chuck E. Cheese or a Dave and
Yep.
Buster's to your own.
Yep. We've had it rented out already twice. We haven't done it. We haven't really promoted it as much like we want to. It's mainly because of the AC situation. We did rent it out on the first days because it was still cold. I think March it's still kind of chilly outside, so we had the people rent it out, and that's why we haven't really been kind of advertising it because we want to get the AC fixed in the arcade or something. But thank God my landlord is taking care of that. It is kind of taking a little bit longer than it should have because I think he was talking about need permits to get the crane out here to put the AC unit up there, and but at least he's taking care of it. So I'm happy.
So let's talk like future business plans, dreams that you have for the business. Like, what are some of them?
Wow. Dream plans. It sounds unrealistic just due to the fact of like the cost of living just going up in here in the Central Valley. It's pretty much everywhere in California. Just the cost of living has been going up. And my dream is to just be able to quit my daytime job and do this full time. And, but just I've been looking for a house because I'm still living in my parents' house because I was pretty much saving up whatever I was making at my job. I was saving it up for 5 6 years, and that's pretty much how I was able to do all this. It wasn't like I took out a loan because here's another bad thing about loans: if you don't have no history, nothing, no one's gonna give you money.
Mm,
I tried my personal bank, and we have a business account with I won't say names, but we do have a business account with another one. They wouldn't even lend us money, nothing. And I showed them that, hey, we've been at that place for 10 years. Like, here's what we made, and I still didn't get nothing from them. And it's hard starting a first business, but you know, it just gotta save up. I guess that's what I keep. That's what I was telling myself just 5, 6 years. Like, half of my check, throw it in savings, and the other half, do whatever you want with it. You know, and that's pretty much what happened. You know, fast forward 5, 6 years, and that's when my mom was like telling me, "Oh, you should open another arcade." I guess that was also a dream, but that's my dream right now. But again, my current to this day, like going on, is to make this my full-time career, my full-time job, possibly expand it. Who knows? Maybe move into a bigger location. Because right now we are 4,200 square feet. I don't know. I do want to eventually get more kid-friendly games, which does kind of revolve around the ticket games, but I want to get them, but not dispense tickets, just to play for fun, like the basketball game. That's a ticket game, but a lot of people still play it because, you know, oh, let's see how much I could do. Let's see how many points I could get. I bet you I could get more points. I bet you I could get more points. And so that's I got two. So kids usually play that just to see who can do better. You know, they don't need the tickets. So I'll just buy more games like that. Like the one that my girlfriend has been bugging me to buy is the skee ball.
Oh yeah, you need it.
She's
Yeah.
been she's been telling me to buy that one, but those take up a lot of space, and I do want to get them, but again, I have to be careful with what I bring in here because just the space, like every square counts. Like, you know, if you can't put, if a game doesn't do well, you also need to do something about it because at that point, it's just costing you to keep it running. You know, it, it and this is, I guess, another topic, but people think owning an arcade, I just spend my whole time playing video games here. I kid you not. There's days where I don't even touch one of the games. I don't even play because I'm always either fixing something, I'm taking down notes, I'm just cleaning up. There's a lot of cleanup at the arcade. There's kids. They're going to make a mess. You know, I'm not going to make my parents clean up because my parents also do help me out. They come out here and they kind of keep eye on the register while I'm on the arcade floor cleaning up, fixing the game. So again, it's a family business. And this goes also back to the flea market location. My dad has been operating the flea market location every Saturday and Sunday with my uncle, with his brother. They run the flea market one, and over here on the north location, it's me, my sister, and my mom. Sometimes my girlfriend. Sometimes my girlfriend, she's out here on the weekends to help me out and just kind of keep me company. So, hi, Caitlin. I hope you're watching this. But yeah, I want to take this moment to also thank my parents. Without their support and their help, this wouldn't exist. They are so helpful about this, and again, it's just crazy how my mom just had a negative view of arcade games. Now she's like, "Oh, I want to go to the arcade. I want to go see the kids play games. I want to go talk to people because they're older folks. You know, they gotta have that conversation with the random person at the arcade and just talk to them." I sometimes catch my mom talking to someone for like hours. I'm like, "Mom, let them go play or something with their kids." But yeah, I'm glad my parent, well, especially my mom. I'm glad that she just changed her view about video games. But my mom just did not have a positive view about video games.
Well, it all changed. She saw, it's more than just, it's more just the game. It's more than just what you see on the screen. And I'm glad that, they've supported you and having this too, right? Because as someone who loves video games, to have a business that revolves around that is really great, right? And like I just said earlier, when it's a hobby of yours, when people can see how much you love what you do, like they want to go and support you, right? They want to go and go there because they know that you know the video games, you know what the situation is like and what games maybe people are requesting and all that. And you're, I mean, you're importing games from Japan, which is like amazing, right? Because that's like the main spot for video games and with arcades. I might be wrong on this too, but I feel like arcade machines maybe start over there, right? Like it just kind of all evolved, or they had more advanced ones than we did.
Yes, they have a lot of the newer stuff. Like, um, so the stuff in here, there is some stuff here that's new from the United States, like the Jurassic Park and the Cruise and Blast. Those are American cabinets, but like uh, all the rhythm games, all of them are imported from Japan. I actually have my broker in Reno. He he's been a huge help. Sorry, I'm throwing out too many names.
No,
Thank you,
it's good.
David.
Throw them out, yeah, because it's nice
Yeah,
all the support. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, David. He's he's also a great friend that I've known for 10 years, and I knew him when he was just someone that was playing games, but he made his hobby into a like his full time job, basically importing them from Japan and selling them all over the country. That's all he does, and I like that. I think that's great, and the fact that because we also have that relationship, he's also been cool about it. He's like, hey, I'm gonna send you these games. You don't have to pay for them now. You can pay for them later. But that's just because we have that bond. We've known each other for so many years, and he trusts me, and so that's awesome. I guess he's the one that got me the Dance Dance Revolution as well from Japan. That's not one you're gonna find here in the United States, and
No.
I think I'm one of two in California with that specific model. So those weren't made here in Japan, and or those weren't made here in the United States. So only another arcade in Southern California has that specific model. Round One does have them, but they have another smaller cabinet,
Mhm.
and you know that one people like to just come see because of, oh, I don't see that type of cabinet. There's multiple types of cabinets specific to an arcade. Sometimes I just have people taking pictures of the games. Like they're fascinated by the stuff that we don't typically see here. And once they see it, it's like, oh my God, that looks so nice.
I'll be one of those people taking pictures and
Yeah,
and sharing too. But I definitely want to play that one because I mean I played all the. I'm sure the ones I played are probably in the U.S. Dance Dance machines, not the
yeah,
ones from Japan. So I'm looking forward to that because there's a lot of good songs there. So I get you when you say that that's the first game that you played because it wasn't my first arcade game. But like I said, when I go to an arcade, if I see that's a must. Unless the line is like crazy long, then I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna bother. But
yeah. We sometimes do get a line on the weekends. We have like at least like five competitive guys because you could. Here's the awesome part about it: they're connected online, so you could keep track of the scores with other people in other different locations. So you could
oh,
get on your phone and also check out your scores. You could do rivals. You could do other things, modifiers, and it's crazy how technology has also evolved in just a short amount of time.
wow, yeah, and combine that arcade like experience with online is, yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, it gets people even more pumped up to like keep playing because you want to beat those like worldwide records, right? And
yeah.
and all that. Well, one last thing. Tell us that where can people follow Arcade Replay and find out more about like future events and maybe new machines and even existing machines and all that.
So we have a community on Discord. Our community has been growing. We are at about 225 members on our Discord. I'm there, and I'm not too proud to say this, but I'm there maybe like half of my day just checking on it, like making sure there's good feedback. If there's a concern or if there's an idea, I'm always checking my Discord, making sure everyone's happy here. I guess I could show you the link real quick for the QR code here. Let me go do that real quick, just so like if anyone's watching, they can scan it.
Oh yeah.
It's, let me see.
Oh, there it is right there. Let me actually add your screen like that. There you
Oh
go.
my gosh! Hold on. Okay, so
Oh,
that's the
perfect.
Discord, and then that's our Instagram. So, oh my gosh, sorry. So that's our Discord. You're more than welcome to sign up. You could go introduce yourself in the introduce yourself section. But if you do want to find us on other social media platforms, we are on YouTube. So I do upload videos on YouTube kind of regularly. I uploaded the videos of the tournament that we had for Initial D, and I also uploaded a video of, I didn't even talk about it, the tournament we had last week for Tekken 8. I had people coming out from, I think the winner, the one that actually won, he came all the way out from Sunnyvale, California.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and I had people coming out from Ceres, Sacramento. I had 49 people enter the tournament. 49. This place was packed. That
Wow.
that was our best night here at the arcade, like revenue wise. Like, I don't know if we can make that happen again, but that was just crazy how we put online like the tournament, and like 49 people showed up. And
Wow.
again, this goes back to community. We are a community driven arcade. I had people out here volunteering to run the tournament, the brackets, the pools, and all. Like, they did all of that. I was just like kind of in the background, just making sure like everyone's having a good time, making sure everything's wired up properly, and you know, that's why that's why my friend did the Discord, to bring all of us together and just hang out and talk. And again, if you're just looking for a place to hang out, meet some new friends, highly recommend you get into our Discord or visit the arcade. Like, there's always someone here to play with or hang out with. But again, Instagram, YouTube, uh, TikTok, uh, they're all, oh, on Facebook as well. All arcade underscore replay.
Nice. Well, hey, that's really awesome that you get people from all over and that you do tournaments because there's not many places that have that, right? I mean, not going back to those places that are like nationally, right? You see them in different places, like they're not really doing these things, right? And and even if they try to do something, it's more on like a modern game, and even then, it just doesn't get the same feel, right? You're not getting the same community vibe that you do when you do it at a like local spot. So I'm glad you're doing that. Looking forward to hearing more like tournaments in the future. Hopefully, a Dance Dance Revolution tournament.
I
That's
did.
gonna be pretty epic.
I've been getting people asking me for a Dance Dance Revolution tournament, but um, I'm probably not gonna run it. I'll probably have someone else doing it, because as much as I played DDR my whole life, I mainly played it casually. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not a competitive, like, I gotta get the score. I gotta get the score. That's not me.
Uh,
Like, I just play it for casually because I just love listening to the music. I sometimes jam out to DDR music on my way to work.
hey, it's
when,
it's jammable, yeah.
when there's no new podcast to listen to, or I listen to DDR. That's just, I owe this whole thing just because of DDR. That's what pretty much got me into the arcade games. I met a lot of friends from DDR. I also do owe a lot to Initial D and the other racing game, Maximum Tune. When I was younger, I would actually drive out to Sunnyvale Golfland, and I would play with the guys out there. And again, I still know them to this day. I still talk to them. We go to a lot of car shows. I just came back from Toyota Fest in Long Beach. I went with two of the guys that I used to go to play at Sunnyvale all the time, playing Maximum Tune. Like, we're just all friends. Like, arcades aren't bad, man. and just bring people together. That's all. That's all arcades are,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, hey, you said it perfectly. Arcades bring people together, and we've talked about it in this episode, and yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, thank you for being on the podcast. Awesome story. It's one of those stories that you always enjoy to hear. And I hope to go there sometime. And whenever I do, I always say this for like any business, but I'm like I'll do a live out there, Instagram live, and we could share more of the machines if people want to see it more, and definitely play that game that everyone's playing because everyone's there. Hopefully the line's not too long, but hey, I'll wait there if I need to because I really want to. I've never played that game before, so I definitely want to experience it and see what everyone is playing
If you,
while they go there. So
yeah, if you don't want to come when there's like a lot of people, typically during the week it is a bit slower. Um, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are typically our busier days. I'm here, yeah. So if you're trying to come, just kind of just see like maybe 5 or 6 people in here during the week. You know,
nice. Well, hopefully after this, there's more people that come by because again, it's like you hear of something, people are like, "Hey, I don't have anything to do on this day, right?" It's like it's a Monday like night or something, and you're like, "Let me go and do something," and so it's
speaking of
great.
Monday night, yes, Monday yesterday we actually had like 15, 20 people in here. Like towards the end, I was like, "Man, random Monday. Like, why do I got this many people here?"
People hearing about the business, and it's a
Yeah.
Monday night. It's like, what else can you really do
What
on?
else is there to do in Stockton on a Monday night? And I've
Yeah.
told people like, if I see you guys playing and it's almost closing time, like I'm not gonna kick you guys out. Like, sure, I got work the next day, but I rather people have a good time here than like a bad experience. Like, oh, closing time, get out. I
Oh
rather just
yeah.
wait.
Oh yeah. No, and that's really awesome that you do that, right? Because again, not to I feel like I keep going back to all the cons with all these like places, but you go to Chuck E. Cheese, you go to Dave and Buster's, they're gonna try and kick you out, right? They're gonna be like, no, we're
You know,
closing already, you're out.
but speaking of that, when I used to go to Golf Land, it was so funny. Whenever it was closing time, on the dot, like I think it was 11 or 10, I forgot what time they closed. They just hit the breaker, and all the whole arcade just goes off, and we're just like, "Oh my god, how do we get out?"
Oh well, I'm surprised they didn't like lock the doors too. And then it's like, all right, no, you have a real life video game, right? Like, get out of the arcade, find the key. Oh, that would be a
That's
pretty
the
epic
game.
prank.
That's the game people want to play. How to get out the arcade when it's all black or pitch black.
Yeah, with the flashlight. You need to leave a flashlight, or I guess your phone nowadays, right? Just
Yep, there you go. There you go, man.
that's a good idea. uh, for, for those arcades there. Maybe Halloween time you do like a you do like a Five Nights at Freddy's thing or something there.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
uh,
Ideas.
yeah, I could have more ideas too. Now that like we're thinking ideas, I'll send you a message with more more
There you
things.
go.
But hey man, this has been really awesome. Again, I hope to go check out the arcade sometime soon and be able to go back to that nostalgia, which is really awesome. Which is something that is the thing nowadays. We have money as millennials now, and we want to go and get to live what we couldn't experience when we were younger because money was tough. So I'm glad that you're
Yeah.
providing this experience to not just us but future generations, as you mentioned earlier. So yeah, thanks again, man. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity as well for doing this podcast. I will for sure share it because I sometimes get people asking me, "Oh, how did it start?" I'm like, "Are you ready to sit down for about an hour? Because it's a long one. I'm not just gonna tell you, oh, my mom had a Pac-Man machine at the convenience store. She said, yeah, let's build an arcade. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna forward them to this video.
Oh, hey, there you go. It works out great. Yeah, it's like here you go. Go and listen to it, or if you want to watch it, again, I have different options now. Whether they prefer to watch or listen on the go, wherever they
Hmm.
as they're headed to a car meet or as they're headed to the arcade and they live in Sunnyvale and they want they want to listen to the story to
There
talk
you
to you
go.
about it and all that. But yeah, thanks again, man. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you as well to everyone for listening to tonight's podcast, or if you watched it on YouTube or Facebook, thank you as well. Again, if you were listening to it and you want to go back to the videos, go back to them. Sebastian actually shared all the machines that they have at the arcade, and it's just amazing. You'll be really impressed by all the different ones that they have, including some that are imported from Japan, which is amazing because you don't see that every day. He also has like pool tables, a foosball table, and I'm a big foosball player, so that's one that I'll definitely be playing when I'm there. But yeah, it was a really awesome place there. So again, go check it out on YouTube, Facebook. Once this gets posted, I post the video in conjunction with the audio. So if you're listening to it now, the video is already available as well. So you can go back there. And if you're trying to cycle through the video, it's more towards the end, so you can cycle through if you don't want to like hear the video. But you should go back and just hear the whole thing again because it's really awesome to hear that story again. So um, awesome. Well, y'all, again, if you haven't followed the social media pages for the 209 Journey, please go give it a follow at the 209 Journey on Facebook and Instagram. If you go on Instagram, I'm going to be doing more live shows. I'm going to be sharing more stories on there if you want to know what's going on in the 209, what my past guests are up to as well. I get all that shared on there so you can go and support them, listen to their episodes as well. You can go back all the way to the beginning. All those episodes are on your favorite podcast app and also on the website. All of them have been imported, as well as all the videos that have been recorded in the past. They all get imported automatically over to the website from YouTube. So the website's pretty much an all-in-one place to watch, listen to episodes, also to contact me if you'd rather send me a voicemail, maybe you'd rather just speak it rather than type it. You can actually also do that on the website. And yeah, I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able to with that. But also, if you are on a podcast app, it would be really awesome if you can leave a review wherever you listen to the podcast, whether it's an actual review or maybe just a rating. Like I know Spotify, it's mainly just a rating. That would be really awesome. The more I get, the more it helps me grow the podcast. So again, go on your favorite podcast app and click on that follow button or subscribe. Also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button so you find out when the new episodes get posted. I am doing premieres of new episodes, so you can also get notified when a new episode gets posted because a premiere happens there. And hopefully sometime in the future, we get more people watching the premieres and all that. And then also interacting in the chat because the live chat gets generated every time that I do a premiere on there. So you can chat with other people as you're watching a interview on there. But of course, you can also leave a comment after the fact on the YouTube page as well. But y'all, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you watched the episode here tonight, I'll be posting another episode here in a few days. I am trying to do a twice a week schedule. I did miss out at this point 2 weeks ago. I didn't post an episode because I was out traveling, but now I will continue with the twice a week episode schedule here, at least for the next coming weeks as I continue to record more episodes and all that. I'm also working on a live stream. By the time this gets posted, maybe I've already announced it, but keep a close eye on the Facebook and Instagram social media pages to find out when live shows get scheduled out so you can tune in live. Or if you miss it, it's all good. Those will be on Facebook and YouTube after the live has ended as well. But I hope everyone has a good morning or a good night whenever you're listening or watching to this. And you'll hear me in a few days here on the 209 Journey podcast.